It's wearing camouflage, funky camouflage in orange, which means it is a Skoda. And you're on ZigWheels, so if you haven't subscribed yet, remember to do that. And let's carry on now with the new sedan from Skoda, the Slavia. The spirit of the original Octavia peeps out at you even from this Skoda, especially the silhouette. Now all this while we've been calling this the mini Octavia because in spy pictures we saw it and found it to be really big. Bigger than the Rapid which it is going to replace. And today we have the dimensions, and as it turns out, it's not a mini Octavia. If you compare it to the first gen Octavia, it is bigger than that. But what's also interesting is the segment itself has grown. So this is going to go head on with the likes of the Honda City in terms of its dimensions. Compared to the City, it is shorter and lower, but wider. What is it going to look like? Well, think of an Octavia and just scale it down. I guess that's the family look, right? So it will have a sense of premiumness, and as it sports a long wheelbase, this sedan should treat its occupants well too. Now this being a sedan from Skoda, expectations are right up there because it has to combine immense practicality which we Indians love and then also pack in that appeal that Skodas are known for. And when it comes to the boot, it's massive, but I can't show you what it is and I don't know the exact number because cover drive. And what I wanted to point out here was the value for money quotient has been thought through at different levels. For instance, this isn't a liftback because that would have been far more expensive than just an opening hatch. And what's it going to be like on the inside? I've spent time, but we can't show you anything and we can't talk about it because cover drive, except for a couple of details like airbags. It's going to get 6 airbags from the get-go and it's going to get a digital display for the driver from launch. These were a couple of things that were missing on the Kushaq when it went on sale at first. So that's that. But I can tell you what it's like to drive and what engines it has because we've driven all of them. This will sound familiar because the drivetrain options that the Slavia is offering are shared with the Kushaq. So you get the 1-litre 3-cylinder petrol engine with the option of a 6-speed manual or a 6-speed automatic. And then there's the higher spec 150 PS 1.5-litre TSI which has a 6-speed manual or the 7-speed dual clutch. Some changes have been made to the drivetrain as the gearbox ratios are different from the Kushaq, but the horsepower figures are the same. Now between these two engines, the 1-litre is obviously the one that makes a lot of sense, and in the manual version it actually feels nice and grunty and responsive, whereas the automatic makes it feel super convenient. Impressively, the 3-cylinder engine's thrum wasn't apparent in the cabin, and the 6-speed auto gearbox was ultra smooth. But on the highways, you do wish that the 1-litre engine had a bit more punch. And the 1.5 TSI in its automatic avatar is the uber sophisticated version, ultra smooth, got the right amount of punch, whether you want it in the city, out on the highway, it doesn't feel lacking anywhere, but not the most exciting. But if you opt for the manual, that's where you find that it just feels more connected. The shifts are also nice, it feels more responsive. So yeah, that's the one that kind of tugs at my heartstrings, but I understand if you want the automatic and if you're being sensible about it, the 1-litre automatic. But to drive the Slavia, being a sedan, just does impress in some ways. The suspension, the way it works over poor surfaces feels even better damped, feels even more cushioned than we saw in the Kushaq. It feels nice to drive as well. We were in a convoy, so we weren't really testing its limits, we were on public roads. So what it did feel like was really neat and easy to drive. Of course, the final suspension tune isn't sorted, which is why over some surfaces it did feel a bit jittery.
Keeping comfort in mind, we expect 16-inch rims to be the largest size on offer at launch. And practicality-wise, the Slavia has great ground clearance, which means you don't have to tiptoe over potholes and speed breakers.
So this being a covered drive, what we've been able to talk about has been a bit limited, but we did get a good impression of what the Slavia is going to be like to drive. And this being a Skoda, you can expect safety levels to be high. In fact, they say that they have tested it for crash tests at higher speeds than required and meets higher internal standards, which are part of the Skoda VW group. And as for when you can see the Slavia with this camo off, that's going to be in the middle of November, around the 18th. And that will be the world premiere of the Slavia, and it's going to go on sale early 2022. And you can expect it to be priced just on par with the Kushaq or a bit under, which would make this really something to watch out for.